Hello, today we are on the second part of The Sound of Music, and here we are going to learn about an important, a very famous musician of India, Ustad Bismillah Khan. We are proud of this musician who won international acclaim but never forgot his Indian roots. He always remained true to his Indian. Now, first they've given us a small history of the instrument called Shehnai. Actually, there was no such instrument in the past. There was an instrument called pungi. This you can see on the side. There's an instrument called pungi, and it had a very shrill, unpleasant sound. So it was irritating, and that's why the emperor banned the playing of this musical instrument. And slowly, people started using this name pungi for any reeded noise maker. Reeded means something which has got a hollow stem and which has got holes on it to make music. But nobody thought that one day, the pungi would make a comeback. And one of the barbers of the family of musicians, he used to go to the palace often. He decided that why don't I do something for the pungi? Why don't I try to improve it? And he chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem. You can see a hollow stem is something like inside there's nothing. It's empty. And this was longer and broader than the traditional pungi. And he made 7 holes on its body. You can see in the Shehnai here there are 7 holes. And he played on it. When he played on it, opening and closing some of these holes, you must have seen for flutes and all that, we do that. Soft and melodious sounds were produced. And he played this instrument before royalty, that's before the kings, and everyone is impressed. And so this instrument made the comeback. And since it was first played in the Shah's chamber and was played by a Nai means a barber, the instrument was called Shehnai. And afterwards, the Shehnai started considered to be auspicious. Auspicious means something that we do play on a good occasion. That's a good sign of something good. And so even today it is played in temples for any wedding and all that. You find the Shehnai is played. And in the past it was a part of the Naubad, that's the assembly of 9 instruments which are played in the royal courts. There are different ideas about which these 9 instruments are. And it was used mainly in temples and weddings. It was Ustad Bismillah Khan who brought this onto the music stage. Now we go to his life history. As a 5-year-old, he used to play like every other child, gilli danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumra in Bihar. He would go to a nearby temple, Biharji temple. You can see the temple here. And he would sing the Bhojpuri Chaita. Chaita is a kind of raga. And for this, he would earn a big laddu. This laddu used to weigh 1.25 kg. So you can imagine it's a very big laddu. And that was given by the local Maharaja. And all this happened quite some time back. And now he has traveled a lot. He has become quite famous. And he is today earned the title of the Bharat Ratna. Bharat Ratna, that is someone who is the jewel of India. So Chaitya is a type of song. Okay, we'll go, and he got this title Bharat. And he belonged to a family of musicians from Bihar. He was born in 1916. His grandfather was someone who used to play the Shehnai in the Bhojpur king's court. His father and other paternal ancestors, paternal means someone related to your father, were also great Shehnai players. And the young boy, he took to music early in life. At the age of 3, when he went with his mother to his maternal house, maternal related to the mother, he was fascinated watching how his uncles played the Shehnai. Soon he started going along with his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, and his uncle used to play Shehnai, so the boy would also go with him. And boy would sit there listening to this music, and slowly he started learning to play the music, and he would practice throughout the day. For years, the temple of Balaji and Mangalamaya, the banks of Ganga became his favorite haunts. Haunts means a place where you go very frequently, where he would practice in solitude all alone. And the flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him. When he heard this music, he felt like inventing new ragas. And till then nobody could feel that the Shehnai can play so many different ragas. So he expanded the repertoire or the music that the Shehnai could play, because capability only this happened. At the age of 14, he accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. And after he played the music, one of the greatest musicians there, that is Ustad Faiz Khan Sahib, he patted him and said, work hard and you shall make it, you will surely become famous. Something very important happened here which changed his life. That is, the All India Radio was started at Lucknow, and here he got his big break, his big chance. He soon started playing Shehnai on the radio, and his music was well appreciated, and he was called again and again. So he started becoming popular because of his playing of the Shehnai. And when India became independent on 15th August 1947, he was the one who was invited to play music there. He became the first Indian to greet the nation by playing his Shehnai, and he played the Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included our father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, as well as our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. After his music, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru gave his famous speech, to the Tryst with Destiny speech. We may have heard of this speech, otherwise you can surely search for it. It's very interesting. These lines of it are very famous. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awaken to life and freedom. And he gave many memorable performances, wonderful performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where the king gave him, liked him so much. He was so taken in means impressed by the great musician, that he gave him many priceless Persian carpets, because the carpets there are very famous, and other souvenirs, things to gifts. And he was not the only person who liked him. The film director Vijay Bhatt, he was so impressed by him that he named a film after him called Goonj Uthi Shehnai. And this film became a hit, and one of his compositions, the song that he created, Dil Ka Khilona Hai To Toot Gaya, it also became a national chartbuster. Chartbuster means a very famous one, maybe as you have rankings. So it's number one in the ranks and all that. And there's one more Kannada film that was given music by him. And in spite of this great success in the celluloid world, celluloid related to films, he did not do any more films. He just did this Goonj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas Kannada film Sanadi Apana, and he says he couldn't stand the film world because he felt it is very artificial. There is a lot of glamour there, and he did not like it. So though he could have earned fame, though he could have earned a lot of money from the film field, he left it. So we can understand he's a simple person. And he started getting a lot of awards. He became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. If you see the hall itself, you can understand it's such a huge hall. So many people must be coming there to watch the performances. And he was the first Indian to be invited there. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival and Osaka Trade Fair. So many ways. So what they want to show is that he is famous not only in India but the world over. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him. And later he started getting many awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan and the Padma Vibhushan. These were conferred to him. In 2001 he got the highest award, that is the Bharat Ratna. You can see him receiving the award. And with this coveted award, coveted means something that everyone likes to get, resting on his chest and his eyes glinting, shining with rare happiness, he said, "All I would like to say is teach your children music. That is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music. So let them learn Indian music when the Westerners are aping us." So there are certain other things that are said about him. That is, he says, even if the world ends, the music will still survive. Music has no caste. And music allows him to forget bad experiences. You cannot keep ragas and regrets in your mind together. So in his mind, he keeps only ragas. He doesn't keep any regret in his mind. In spite of having travelled all over the world, Khan Sahib, as he is fondly called, is very fond of Benares and Dumru, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. A student of his once asked him to settle in America and to run a Shehnai school there. The student said that, I will recreate the atmosphere of Benares here. I'll make temples like Benares here. Everything. So Khan Sahib said, okay, you can build buildings, you can make temples, all this I agree, but can you bring river Ganga here? And that shows how much of affection, how much of how deep his bond is with his country. And later he is remembered to have said, "That's why whenever I'm in a foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan. While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the Holy Ganga. And while in Banaras, I miss the unique Matha of Dumru. So in Dumru, the kind of puja that they have in the evening and all that, all these I miss that. So wherever I am, always I want to come back to my hometown." And you can see an excerpt from an interview here where Shekhar Gupta asked him, when partition happened, why didn't your family move to Pakistan? And Bismillah Khan said, "God forbid me leave Banaras. Never. I went to Pakistan once. I crossed the border just to say I have been to Pakistan. I was there for an hour. I said Namaskar to the Pakistanis and Salam Alaikum to the Hindus. I had a good laugh." So, for him, he can never think of moving away from his country, from his place. He is so closely related, or so close. And his life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India. So here you have something that's related to temples, and here you have a Muslim, a devout Muslim like him, playing it very naturally, and he goes very naturally, he plays this Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. What better example do we need to show that India is truly a secular and culturally rich place? And this is something that was made by Prasar Bharati on his death anniversary. That is, they call him India's one of most prolific, most famous musicians, gaining worldwide acclaim, fame for more than 8 decades, 10 years. And he has taken the Shehnai to an international platform. He was a symbol of India's religious pluralism. This is very important. That is, how we accept each and every religion and all are equal. And a symbol of harmony for people of different faiths. The countries that he has gone to is again mentioned here. And though he was so famous, he lived a very simple life. That is, he is often seen moving about in the cycle rickshaws. And one of the notable achievements in his life was that he was the one who performed at Delhi's Red Fort on the eve of India's independence in 1947. And he was rewarded with India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. So let us pay our tribute to this great musician who always says, "Yes, Mera Pyara Hindustan," and his heart is totally within this country.